A recent decision by a US federal court has temporarily blocked the Trump administration plan to transfer Venezuelan immigrants detained in New Mexico to notorious Guantánamo Bay detention facility in Cuba. While this seemed like an issue specific to Latin American migrants, the implications of such policy could be far-reaching, specifically for Indians living or planning to migrate to the United States illegally. First, let me tell you what exactly is Trump's plan. Since taking the office, President Donald Trump has taken aggressive steps to detain and deport undocumented immigrants as part of his wider crackdown on immigration. Now, recently, reports emerged that his administration was considering sending immigrants to Guantánamo Bay, a US military base known for housing high-risk terror suspects since 9/11. In the meantime, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that flights carrying detainees had already been sent to the facility. In fact, Trump has even promised to expand the detention camp's capacity to hold up 30,000 criminal illegal aliens. A federal court in New Mexico, however, temporarily halted the transfer of 3 Venezuelan migrants following a lawsuit filed by a human rights organization. The court ruled that these individuals had the right to legal counsel and that their detention at Guantánamo would create a legal black hole, depriving them of due process. Now let me tell you, why should Indians care? At first glance, they may seem like an issue only affecting Venezuelans or Latin American migrants, but Indian immigrants, specifically those on temporary visa or facing any legal uncertainty, should take a note here. There are over 5.4 million people of Indian origin in the US, and a significant number of them are either H-1B work visas, student visa, or in the long green card backlog. Given Trump's history of anti-immigration rhetoric, there is growing concern that such extreme policy may not remain limited to Latin American migrants. If this move is allowed to proceed, it could set a very dangerous precedent where any undocumented migrant, including Indians too, could be detained in military facilities without proper legal rights. Already, Trump has vowed mass deportation and has ordered the immigration and custom enforcement agencies to crack down aggressively on undocumented migrants. Indians overstaying their visas, those who are caught in migration dispute, or even asylum seekers could be at risk right now. When we talk about Indian students and professionals, then this type of community contributes significantly to the US, specifically to its economy. Yet, they have faced increasing immigration hurdles. Trump's administration has already targeted H-1B workers and legal migrants by tightening visa regulations. That means delaying green card approvals, revoking work permits for H-4 visa holders that are the spouses of H-1B workers, then restricting asylum applications for those facing prosecution abroad. If the Trump administration expands its Guantánamo detention program, there is no guarantee that only those with criminal records will be detained. Indians who have overstayed their visa or those who are caught in technical legal issues could suddenly find themselves facing deportation or even worse, imprisonment in military detention center with no legal resource. The Trump administration's anti-immigrant policy extends beyond deportation, and that's the most risky thing. The rollback of diversity and inclusion, DEI hiring program, the push for an America First policy, and restrictions on student visa holders all signals that Indian immigrants are increasingly seen as expendable despite their major contribution to the US economy. Now, if policies like detentions at Guantánamo Bay are allowed to continue unchecked, there is a real possibility that legal Indian migrants might face even harsher scrutiny in the near future. In the meantime, the Indian government has been actively working to protect Indian nationals facing deportation from the US. Earlier this month, you may know that India raises concern with Washington over the treatment of 104 Indian migrants deported from the United States in chains and handcuffs. If such extreme measures like Guantánamo detention expands, New Delhi will likely to step in diplomatic effort to ensure that Indians are not subjected to inhumane treatment. However, India needs a stronger stance on protecting its diaspora. While countries like Colombia and Brazil have challenged US immigration policy affecting their citizens, India has largely taken a very softer diplomatic approach. With growing concern about mass deportation and unfair detention, India must push for legal protection and fair treatment of its own citizens in the United States. But here is what Indian migrants can do. First of all, ensure proper documentation. Those on temporary visa should maintain up-to-date paperwork and avoid any immigration violation. Secondly, stay informed. Beware of new immigration policy and legal rights. Thirdly, seek legal assistance. Those facing visa or immigration issue should consult an immigration lawyer immediately. Lastly, reach out to the Indian consulates. In case of legal trouble, Indian nationals should contact the nearest Indian embassy or consulate for assistance. So in the end, Trump's immigration policy are becoming increasingly radical and dangerous. While Guantánamo Bay has historically been associated with terrorists, the fact that his administration is now considering detaining migrants there should be alarming for all the immigrant community, including Indians. If this trend continues, Indians, specifically students, skilled workers and those on temporary visa, could face even greater risk. It is crucial for both individuals and Indian government to take proactive steps to ensure their rights and safety in a rapidly changing US immigration landscape.